So here's the review and the rant and rave about the Chevy Silverado ZR2. I'm not going to hold back on this. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I think about it after owning it for a while, the things that we've done to it, and the things that we're going to be doing to it. We're going to talk a little bit about what I think Chevy should have done and what they could have done. So here we go. All right, let's discuss the Chevy Silverado ZR2. And I'm going to go a little bit in depth on this, on my impressions of owning this for a while now. Things that we've done, things that we're going to be doing. And we're also going to talk a little bit about what I wish they would have done to really make this truck a knockout. So overall, I love it. This truck is fantastic. But there's a few things that Chevrolet could have done to this truck to really make this thing stand out. And there's a few things that Chevrolet could have and should have done just as a standard option. It just made it an option, honestly. I would have paid to do some of these things that we're going to discuss. I mean, overall appearance, the truck is great, but it looks so close to the doggone Trail Boss that Chevrolet really should have given an option. I'm probably going to do this later, but how about some badging more than just this one sticker that says ZR2 here? I mean, the Trail Boss has a beautiful decal that goes on the back here, but to really make this thing stand out, and for those of us that sat around and waited, 6 to 8 months for this truck after we ordered it, come on. I mean, I would have easily paid extra premium money to get a stupid sticker on the back of this thing that says ZR2. Just give me some badging, because we're proud of the truck. We're proud of the ownership. But stealthy is one thing, but come on. Anyway, a few little things here we're going to talk about, like quality control, minor things that Chevrolet could have done. Here's one thing that's interesting. The exhaust system that they talked about being tucked up underneath, I really wish it would have been an option, because I would have much rather had the exhaust coming out through the rear bumper, like the Trail Boss and AT4 for GMC and so forth. But if take a look at the exhaust tips that are supposed to be tucked up underneath the truck. Yes, I know I'm going to be able to go in there and adjust it myself, but why do I have to adjust it? Look at the exhaust tips. They're not even symmetrical. I mean, one's hanging down lower than the other one, and why are they even visible? I thought these were supposed to be tucked up underneath for extra clearance and all this other crap. Come on, Chevy. Anyway, going around this truck, it's fantastic. Again, the badging, I wish they would have added some more stuff. It just would have been kind of cool to have this thing stand out a little bit more. This hood that's also available, this hood scoop that's also available on the Trail Boss, it should have been exclusive to the ZR2. I mean, I don't understand that one. Why are you making it available to all the other trucks? This is supposed to be kind of the flagship. So I don't understand why you're taking the specialty away from the ZR2, I think. The other thing let's talk about is the interior. So the interior is cool. But this is the only option that we have, is the yellow stitching. I don't understand how that meeting must have went when they said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give them one option for the ZR2, and this is it. Why? What if I wanted to, and I would pay upgrades to get red stitching? Make this thing really, really special. We're going to talk about another vehicle that we have coming here, and which is the new Chevy Colorado ZR2. But where's the ZR2 on the headrest? I mean, the floor mats. The floor mats are standard Chevrolet floor mats. Yes, I get it. We got the ZR2 here. But how about make this insert red, or give me an option, any kind of options. I don't understand, Chevy, And then here's the other thing. Yeah, some of you have already seen the video on what happens with look at the animation. I mean, the Trail Boss has some great animation. How about making the ZR2 with some really cool animation? Let me show you something else. Okay, so here's the other animation I wanted to show you. Why do I have this little truck over here on the right and I don't have a ZR2? Yeah, it's simple, but come on. That's kind of an easy thing, I would think. I mean, it just seems like they launched this a little bit prematurely, and they could have done something really cool to, you know, separate this truck from all the other trucks that are in the line, in the Chevy line. So I don't understand why they didn't do that. Oh, you know what? One thing I wanted to discuss. This glossy hood it looks great, but I'll tell you, the sun, when it gets to a certain point, the reflection on the back of that hood scoop, it goes right back into your face. And I'm actually at the point now where I may just get some special matte decals and just put it on the back side of that, because at a certain point, the sun just goes right back into your face. It's to the point where it's not one of those things where, oh, I can live with it. It's really bad. I mean, it's literally right back into your eyes at certain parts of the day. But yeah, I mean, overall room in here, it's a Chevy Silverado, but I just wish that Chevrolet would have done a few things to make this really, really special and stand out. I mean, the camera view on the mirror, that's pretty cool. You know, going from regular mirror to the camera, that's cool. But again, that's nothing special, super special, that's exclusive to the ZR2. So one of the other things that you've already seen in one of the other videos that we talked about was the exhaust system. Now, the exhaust system on the Chevy Silverado and any of the 6.2s, it's horrible, awful. It's just pathetic when you have a 6.2. And what we did was we cut off that muffler, and there's another video that we talk about this a little bit more in depth. As a matter of fact, if you go to TTR Auto, check out his site. He talks a little bit more about some of the stuff on the Chevy ZR2, the Silverado ZR2. But you can see we just had to hack this thing off, and we just straight piped it and bypassed it, but we left the resonators on here, which are, you know, some people call it the glass packs, which is pretty true. I mean, they are still kind of a traditional glass pack, but everyone now has called it the resonator. So we left the resonators on there, and it has a great tone to it. I don't think it has a lot of drone. Some people were talking and commenting about this drone that they get, but we drive it in manual. I'm going to be discussing whether or not we're going to be doing the Pulsar LT on this or not. I'm still kind of on the fence about it, but I think I'm probably going to do it. What I do is I drive this in low and in manual. I put it in tow mode, and as long as you use it in manual mode and not in just, you know, drive, you don't get the truck to shut off a lot of the cylinders. I don't use gear 10, and as long as I stay in gear 9 and below, the truck performs much better. But it is a little bit of a pain to do that every single time you want to hop in here, so I may go the Pulsar route. But I'll let you know. The other thing that we're waiting on is we do have a sport bar. I call it a light bar, whatever you want to say. Roll bar, light bar, sport bar. It is coming. We're still on the list waiting for this thing to get here. But once again, Chevy's taking their time on getting it over here. We're going to discuss a couple things about that I'm curious to find out. So the camera that we have here, if you know about the sport bar that's equipped on or available for the regular Colorado ZR2, it looks great, and it says ZR2 on the side. What's my gripe so far is the one that's available for the Silverado ZR2 only says Silverado. It does not have any options to get one that says ZR2 on it. Again, it's a miss, Chevrolet. The other thing that I'm really curious about, and no one can answer for me yet, is whether or not that factory Chevrolet sports bar is going to block that camera. Nobody can tell me, so we're gonna find out. You know, it's coming someday. Hopefully before I go to trade this in, that sport bar will be here, and we'll get that installed, and we'll find out whether or not that's gonna block that camera that is equipped for the rear. But anyway, overall, absolutely love the truck. But like I said, there's gripes. I'm not brand loyal. I love you know, various trucks. You know, we had a Raptor that had lots of problems, but I've been waiting for Chevrolet to do something special. I thought this was going to be even more special than what it is. I really would have loved to have seen this thing come with a supercharger, and I'm just kind of kicking the fence whether or not do I invest, you know, 7 to 10 grand on a supercharger for this. But you know, it performs great so far. Well, as a matter of fact, what we did was, let me show you something. So we did do the K&N Blackhawk air intake, and so far I love it. We've done different intakes in the past for different vehicles. We've done Corsa, AFE, and K&N, of course. I decided to go with the K&N this time primarily because the old Blackhawk used to have a raised portion that actually sits up, and it looks pretty cool. It had a little decal on here, but I guess K&N has kind of went away from that, and you have this. Would I have spent the extra $100 just to get the aluminum tube and the dry filter for the Blackhawk? And of course, this is also aluminum for the heat shield. I'm on the fence. I don't know if I would do that again. We've got another Chevy Silverado ZR2 coming, and I think we're going to go the Corsa route on that. There's a couple things that we're going to talk about for the Corsa that is beneficial over certain ones. One thing I like about the Corsa is that the heat shield, it uses the factory airbox bottom on the Corsa. So you don't have to remove this. You don't have to remove this. There's a lot of stuff that you don't have to do that you are required to do for this K&N. And if you do it every day, it's simple to remove these K&Ns. If you're not doing it every day, it's going to be a little bit challenging. It is going to take a little bit more time than what people think. So you have to be patient. If it's saying that it's going to take you 2 hours for a lot of time, plan for 3. You know, there's always little things that are going to come up, or, you know, you want to read the directions 20 times like I do to figure out what they're trying to say. But overall, this is great. This is a great system. I love it. Not cheap, but it is great. I will tell you one thing though, that my pipe did arrive with a small dent in it. It's not really visible, but I reached out to K&N, and they were very quick to tell me that they're going to be shipping me out another intake tube. Of course, that doesn't happen if I had a plastic one. But again, you know, there's got to be benefits to this Blackhawk system, and why it's so expensive. You know, I think it's honestly because of the dry filter. Typically, all of the K&N filters that we have used in the past have always been the oil, and they're just kind of messy. And I really hate. I think it's a pain in the butt to clean those. So we went the dry route this time, and you know, we'll see. In the past, the dry filters that we've used, we've been pretty happy with, so we went dry this time. But so far, so good. You know, we're always going to run into a few little hiccups here and there, and anytime you start modifying stuff, you're going to run into a few issues. So far, I haven't run into anything major. The dash cluster, that's something I should probably talk about. So the dash, there's a video that I have that you guys all saw that talks about the loss of the dashboard. And do I know what caused it? No. Does anyone really know what caused it? No. Does the dealership know? No. But what we did do, and it was just a kind of a hope and a prayer, we checked for any updates. We did any of the updates that this truck needed. We flashed any of the new updates so that it's got the latest and greatest, although I wish they would have come with some animation changes but on the dash. But anyway, we did all the updates. I did a complete reset, which means I disconnected the battery to clear anything that could have happened, and I haven't had any problems since. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen again, but it's gone for now. The one thing that I really wish that Chevrolet, here's another, I feel like I'm bagging on this thing through this whole video, but the one thing that Chevrolet should have done is they should have left some kind of analog gauges on this. Digital dash is cool, but if you think about this, and you've got to think about this from a hard day's, I hate to say work, but imagine jumping in here and you're using this thing on the trail, or you have gloves on or whatever, jumping into this truck and taking off on the trail, or you have gloves on. This is not exactly a truck you're going to want to, this is something you're going to be daintily touching. Those of you that are older can remember grabbing onto a four-wheel drive, gear shifter and shifting it into four-wheel drive, getting out and locking the hubs. I mean, that's all stuff that gave you a positive feel when you're selecting gears or putting things into motion. Today's technology has gotten so, what's the word? I hate to use this word, but it's fluffy. Everything is now fluffy. And maybe it's what the board members do at their meetings, and they say, let's fluffinize this truck. But not all of us wanted a fluffy truck. For crying out loud, give me a truck that I can jump into and really feel that this thing is supporting me and it's going to get me from A to B no matter what. This is kind of, it gives you that, it's kind of dainty, right? It gives you that, oh, what happens if my dashboard goes out? Well, now I have no idea how much fuel I have. I can't even see what gear I'm in. The whole dash was gone. So imagine being out there in the middle of the desert or out in the middle of the trail and you're doing your thing, you're, fishing, hunting, whatever, just playing around. And all of a sudden you lose your whole dash. Not cool. Now, if you have some analog gauges, at least the main stuff, that would at least put your mind at ease that, okay, I can't listen to my Sirius XM radio and I can't tell what angle my truck is at. I can't turn on my heat or my air-conditioned seats, but you know what? I can at least get home. That's important. So, Chevrolet, if you're listening, please, guys, come on. Let's make this thing a little bit beefy, shall we? Let's I saw some of the videos, some of the marketing videos that they had for this thing while we were waiting for this thing to get built. And come on, I'm sure that you guys have all seen it. But watching some of the folks that they chose to go hop into the truck and give their opinions, honestly, I wanted to throw up. I'm just watching this saying, you got to be kidding me. Let's get some people that are actually users of your vehicles and that can give you an honest opinion about what should be done, what could be done, past owners of the trucks, people that have had problems. So, I know that I'm rambling on, and some of you are probably tired of hearing it, but Chevrolet did a great job on the truck, but they could have done more. So do me a favor, please, if you haven't already, please subscribe. We got more videos coming, and I know it's a slight departure from, the drone stuff, but we're going to have all kinds of different things we're going to speak of, and I appreciate every view that you guys give us. Take care. See you on the next one.